Hey Maria, I'm back with another video. It's 1:12 p.m. It is Sunday afternoon. I guess this is kind of like a follow-up video from the one that I posted earlier. And every time you find something out, you start having more questions. You can't help it because this was a big issue in my life. Okay, being blacklisted, being a victim of human trafficking, finding out that the root of the problem and the main perpetrator is all very it's a lot. Okay, it really is, but it answers a lot of questions, and it kind of reveals certain things and makes me aware, or should I say, confirms certain things. And why I say that it confirms certain things is that I've known for a while that I have been, hearing things on YouTube from people's videos that sound a little too familiar, and I pick up on things. And I understand that a lot of my things that I have done has been inspiring a lot of people, and I had my suspicions that somebody, but I mainly thought it was like the celebrity group and my family that was doing this. What it was the main orchestrator was, of course, Rex Laverne. Now, what I understand now is that he believed. See, this is so crazy. He believed that he was like somehow had the ability to take ownership of my work. Okay. Because he comes, obviously he was using some sort of religious basis for doing this, okay? Now, I wanted to talk a little bit, and this isn't yet, I'm not making this video to bash on Rex Laverne, even though I do not like him, because this is not what the video is about. The video is about, in general, because it makes me think about how a lot of people have their different definitions of what marriage is, okay? Now, in his mind, okay, and in a lot of men who traffic women, okay, because we understand that a lot of this is like delusional, okay. They like to force them into situations much like the one that he has forced me into, or I should say, based on everything that's happened, this is more like the end result of him, employing me at his place of business. Now, I do understand that I have a little traveler, I have a spirit traveler, an apparition that appears on camera, and he felt as though, I guess he was receiving some sort of benefit or something for me being in his place of employ. And then he's starting to think greedily, thinking how he could have further control over an individual. First of all, that is exploitation. Okay. If he's getting paid off of me, I am not just a thing that you can make money off of. Okay. But anyway, and I will say this for like certain employers: if I have a traveler and I end up at the place of employment, I don't necessarily have an issue, because I understand there's a lot of people who probably want to see this apparition. Okay. So I think it's cool too. I really do. I really, really do. If people have cameras and stuff like that, I do know that, I believe that it's illegal to have cameras in the surveillance cameras. Right? At least I think it is. Okay. I know I was reading some stuff a few years ago when I was trying to figure out this issue, because I had this sense that I was being under surveillance. Okay. Because it's a form of exploitation. If, like, for example, if he was getting paid to have me under surveillance by like some underground company, like like what they call like the dark web or something. This is just what do you call it, hypothetical. He's basically exploiting me. He would be showing me my image, getting some sort of benefit off of everything, and he would be exploiting me because I'm not getting any money off of it. I'm just getting money off of, I get paid to do what is based off of the agreement when he hired me. I was getting hired to do book work. I'm getting hired to do something else. I am no part in any way a part of this agreement of being exploited. Okay, so he got greedy, and a lot of people want to figure out, like, how is it that I can get hold of a woman? And I'm going to tell you, this is the reason why I'm talking about human trafficking. I was just remembered a video that I did back in 2020. I don't know the date, okay? But I am going to be putting that little goodie in the description box, because the name of this video that I made in 2020, and I want you guys, really, this is all so amazing. Okay, so the first video that I made that I referenced this morning was the one about stalking in the workplace, okay? The other video that I made, it was 2000, okay, this is probably 5 years ago, okay? Because it showed 2020 on the date. This video is called Forced Marriages Through Employment is Human Trafficking. Now, I'm going to tell you that in order to be married, okay, in the United States, you have to have a license. You have to apply for a marriage license, and two people have to be in agreement on that marriage license. Otherwise, there is no marriage. Now, some people, greedy people, okay, who have always looked at marriage as some form of what do you call it? Well, a commodity. You know what I mean? Like some people look at family businesses and stuff like that, and they think that, and yeah, there are family businesses, okay, but generally the husband is married to the wife legally, and they have their children, and they support the family, okay, and they run a business. They have to have another business license on top of that, and they're two separate things, okay. But still, I am not married to Rex Laverne or anybody just because I'm married to them. See, this is what I'm telling you. There's a lot of ignorance that goes on when you're dealing with certain people, okay? He's obviously somebody who thinks from a religious mind. He's religiously indoctrinated. Now, when this issue is based on human trafficking, if this was to go to court, which it really should have, okay, he probably thought that he had a strong argument because I can make her my wife because I'm employed by her, or I employed her. No, you cannot. And I would like you guys to check out the video that I'm going to put in the description box. Like I said, I made this video in 2020. I also know that he is somebody who has manned my channels, stalked me continuously, so he's probably seen the video. Okay, so what I'm talking about, people who frustrate me with the excuse of, I didn't know. You did know. You watched the video, okay, which makes you accountable. Okay, this is what I'm saying. When you tell people what something is and you explain it, and then you tell them the consequences of it, the most likely outcome of it, you're telling people what's going to happen or the reasons why it should not happen. And when they proceed to do it, that's when you cast judgment on them. Okay, and really, that's how it should be in the legal system. I mean, it shouldn't be any of this, let's go to trial, and then we're going to hold this back, and then it's going to take all this other, like, many years, and this guy's sitting in jail just rotting away, and the issue isn't even resolved, okay? It's like, I personally think things should be swifter than that. But anyway, marriage is defined by different people. Now, I understand some people believe in marriage, and I have not told people to not get married. I've never encouraged other people to get married. I myself have zero interest in marriage. And I know when you're dealing with adult people, some people get really offended because you don't want to be married. Some people get really, really offended because I don't want to be married. I have zero interest in being married. I do not function as a couple. Okay, this chick flies solo. I kid you not. Okay, so in all my lives, I've always been somebody who's been very independent and autonomous. I don't like insincerity. And, the same definition of what he views as marriage, I don't believe it that way. Okay, I don't believe in that sort of marriages. And if some people want to be consensual about those sort of marriages, then that's their choice. Then go get a marriage license and finish that deal. You know what I mean? But for me, no, I don't want to be married, okay? And it's just that simple. And I am angry that somebody tried to put me in that situation of being in a forced marriage. What else do I want to talk about? Because, excuse me for keep on bringing up this subject. It's like I said, I needed to find out what was going on, what the meaning of all this was, what the heart of the matter is. I do understand that, my father's apparition comes to visit. And I think that's wonderful. And I know he comes to visit here where I am. I communicate with my father as much as I possibly can. And the weird part is that I get this message, intuitive message, that my father, when he does appear, he does not appear like a shy, what do you call it? The shiny type of glow or whatever. From what I understand, it seems like his features are actually noticeable. Like he looks like the James Calvin Gordon that I grew up to know as my father, which is interesting to me. You know what I mean? But I don't resent people for having that sort of interest. What I do resent is Rex Laverne trying to play down who I am because he does not want me to have success. Okay, I think he's an evil man, and he's a selfish man. And this is what I'm saying. There's laws in place to protect your rights to pursue your dreams. Okay. This is why we have the legal system, and this is why there is no contact. I will not be making contact with him other than the communication when it comes to work. Like if I need him to ask a question or I expect it to be answered, I do not want any sort of interaction with this man. Okay, I have it's just whatever it is what it is. But when it comes to marriages, I do want to say something really quick. you know, when it comes to people keeping the population up, okay, I am not responsible for keeping the population up. I will tell you why. I am 50 something years old. And to me, when it comes to marriage, to me, is about building a family. Okay, for some people, marriage is about exploiting their families. Okay, and that's all I'm going to say about that. And it's my personal choice. And once again, you know, I'm going to tell you right now, people want to get too intrusive about stuff like that. It is not welcome. Okay, I have made myself very clear on the issue of marriage. And of course, you know, like I said, there's always going to be these people. They want like, why? How come? Because I've been a bohemian person pretty much all my entire life. Okay, and because of my unique ability, I am not marriage material. Okay, so in dumb Rex Laverne's mind, he's like, well, sure you are, because you have financial resources, or you have the ability to make financial resources. I'm going to tell you right now that I am not interested in exploitation. Okay, so check out this video. It's called Forced Marriages Through Employment is Human Trafficking. It will be in the link in the description box. Like I said, I made this video. I didn't see the exact date of 2020, but I made the video in 2020, which in this is 2025. So let's assume that the video was made sometime in June. Okay, that was almost 5 years ago. Okay, I was talking about this. I made that video, the forced marriages video, and I also made the video about the workplace mobbing, the stalking, and all these other stuff. Okay, so these are very important lessons, very, very important lessons. And so, you know, I'm glad I came out here and made this public statement. These covert operations are dangerous. The reason why they're covert is because it allows the perpetrator to get away. It allows the perpetrator to use other people to work their goal, within that system. Okay, so he can tell everybody, hey, don't tell her what this is about. I need you to act this way. Okay, I need you to ask her this question. I need you to do her this for me. I need to do that. Let me tell you something. Rex Laverne has no business to be stalking me anywhere. If I walk into a store, you better not be spying on me for this man. Because if I even get a feeling that you're spying on me for this man, unfortunately, I'm going to have to tell you off. And I'm going to put you on blast. Okay? Because at this point, I'm not really playing games. And this is no offense to the community, because, you know, I appreciate the community and I appreciate the cooperation, okay? However, we're dealing with something that I am completely uncomfortable with. I do understand that some people are very, very, you know, attached to the idea of marriage. And like I said, it depends on how you view marriage, okay? Now, when I was little, I used to think, and let's just say, for example, I was like, I don't know, 20-something years old, and I really wanted to have kids and all that stuff. Okay, this is how I would look at marriage. I would be basing my marriage on the growth of my family. And of course, I would like to build, like, you know, a comfortable, be comfortable financially, okay? But the thing is that I believe, okay, I know this sounds weird, okay, because I know people believe in, like, eugenics is typically associated with white people, okay? But I do believe in, like, being very selective about mates. I also believe in holding a very high standard. I do believe in having, you know, if you're going to have a kid, you should be responsible and know all the ins and outs and the responsibilities of raising children, okay? Know all of that ahead of time, okay? Oftentimes people get into marriages and they tend to glamorize it, they tend to romanticize it and that sort of stuff. If you understand that it is not all a bed of roses and this is something that you want to do and you're consenting with it, and you get that marriage license to where it's like a legal and solidified thing, not somebody's, you know, ignorant interpretation of thinking that because you're employed by them or you work for them that they have some sort of right over you. Okay. Also, I did want to talk a little bit more about some of the legal documents that get signed in the workplace. Be very careful about what you sign. Okay. Things, you know, because there's a lot of these employers. I've heard other targeted individuals where, like, an employer will sneak behind their back and take out a life insurance policy on a family member. Okay. And the deal is behind their back that they're going to be splitting the money with somebody else. Okay. This kind of stuff happens. Employers tend to have. Some of them tend to have, I'm going to say, a lot of, like, you know, unfortunately, it's the family-owned businesses, a lot of them, as well as the big corp businesses, tend to do a lot of unethical things, okay? And the reason why is because they're on power trips. I own this. I do this. I'm your boss. I can do this. Let me tell you something. You may be, okay? And this is why we have a law, because the law has already addressed these issues. It has always addressed, you know, things like human trafficking, has already addressed things like forced marriages, these sort of issues. So, like I said, I'm not trying to go on and on and on about it. I'm just making it very clear because the issue is I am dealing with one of those stalkers who deals with delusions. Okay, the reason why he's watched every single last one of my videos, okay? Knows Maria's a clothes freak, knows I have no interest in marriage, knows what he just did to my employment, right? Blacklisting me, bullying me, trying to, even though it's in the past and it hasn't happened, okay? It has left a lot of psychological scars, right? Mainly because, somebody's going to attack a woman who has no way of defending herself, putting me in vulnerable situations. I've said it over and over again, how I felt about it, okay? So I have to periodically put people in check. Because when you're dealing with somebody with delusions, they'll come back sometimes, even if you told them off, even if you told them to drop dead. They might come back the next day with something like a box of chocolates and some flowers and start serenading you. I kid you not. Okay, so I have to make it very clear that there is nothing going on between me and Rex Lauren. There will never be anything going on between Rex Lauren. Because when you're dealing with people who lie compulsively or whatever, then he could be coming up with some other sort of bullshit that he's going to be putting out. Okay, I am there to work, to do my job. And yes, I plan on doing my job, and I'm planning on doing a job quite well. And I'm going to apply my effort, and I'm going to put my interest into the company while I am there. Okay, do I plan on, sitting around there at Rex places forever? No, I'm going to do what I can to get out of there. Okay, but right now I have other things I need to do, and that is something, it takes a while to find a job. It just does. Okay, anyway, as we all know, right? So, anyway, the video is in the description box. I hope you guys look at this video. I hope you share this video. I hope you pass this video around. I hope you guys get educated. I'm going to wrap up this video, and I will be back with another video sometime later. If I come back with another video, you know good and well something else is surfacing around in my head, okay? Back later. Take care. Bye-bye. Oh, shit. This is all sloppy. This video is so sloppy. I am so sorry. Okay, I would just recorded something about another thought that I had, and I appreciate you guys not, turning off this video because I had ended it earlier, and then I got an intuitive message about, some of the delusions that Rex Laverne had in his logic on thinking that on the marriage issue. Like he made it so that he thought he or could justify having me trafficked back in his direction, as well as, compensating me with the job, but also, him thinking that we're trying or considering trying to get closer to me when the answer was like, I don't want to be married. Hang on a second. What is it?
I missed this shirt and this jacket. Can you take this name tag off and the name tag on?
Not the same day, but I can eventually.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, put this in the wash first. Thanks. Okay, anyway, sorry, I interrupted. He believed that it was my, the marriage bond. That I don't believe in, I'm sorry, I got interrupted because my son came in. Okay, I don't believe in marriage for myself, okay? I don't believe in marriage for myself, okay? It is too much of a life change, and it's an environment, and everything about marriage, it just doesn't mesh well with me. If I have been a bohemian type of person for pretty much all my life, it's not going to be something that would work, okay? Now, when it comes to my view of family, everybody has their idea of how they choose to live their life, okay? When it comes to my view of family, I do understand, like when I picture family, I picture wholesomeness, like a wholesome family, a family that loves themselves as individuals, and because the mother loves herself, because the husband loves themselves, they are obviously going to love their offspring, and they're going to, want good things for their offspring, okay? They're going to want the best for their offspring. It makes sense, right? There's like putting thought into it. And obviously, I think, in my mind, the goal of life in existing is to improve each generation as you go on. So, and I had talked about, how sometimes parents are jealous of their children's accomplishments. That should not be the case, because if people knew what love was, that's exactly what they'd want. They'd want their children to be better than they are. That's the truth. And what I mean by that is like, there's certain things like I never got a chance to own a house in my life, okay? Because I've had people, evil people, stand in my way, all this other stuff, drama, blah, 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 blah. And if my son ends up owning a house, I'm going to be glad for him. Whatever it is, okay? I don't have a whole lot of aspirations other than me delving into my occult studies as well as me, what I'm going to say, marketing things or trying to get footing and stability as far as work, doing my occupational engineering. Okay, those are the only things I really care about. I basically have lost most of my life because of this man. Okay, this is one of the reasons I cannot stand the sight of this man. He's evil to me. But yeah, it is not the institution of marriage that makes it so that my father visits me. It is our undeniable bond of love is what it is. We are spirit beings, and we come in pairs, basically. We come in pairs, okay? Whether we took vows or not, okay? And that's just how it is, okay? So, no, I don't believe marriage is natural, because there's a lot of behavioral modification, and it's not something that I'm going to adapt to, okay? But obviously the population needs to continue, and, unfortunately, I would prefer it continue in a way where, there's some sort of, where there's more quality to life than what there is now, because people just don't live good quality lives, okay? And that's what I'm trying to teach people. I'm trying to teach people to love themselves, right? But anyway, it is not the bond, it is not marriage, the institution of marriage, that makes it so that my father's apparition appears, okay? It is our bond of love, and that is what it is, okay? Anyway, that's what I wanted to say. Unfortunately, this is a very, very sloppy video. I know you guys just watched my, the people who were watching my videos. I got like 5 views on the channel. I do appreciate it, for the last video. And I do know that I put that link in the description box about the, the issue relating to stalking in the workplace, okay? Now, you notice like when I put together informative videos, I'm narrating them. This is a sloppy video, okay? I am not somebody who can just freestyle videos. Sometimes, I score okay, but for the most part, I get all messy, and if I start talking for too long, then it reminds me of this issue, and then I got to sit here and talk about this issue. I am a better communicator when I write, I'm a better communicator. I also want to talk about my verbal communications. I will say, I am very nervous when I communicate with people. It's not so much I'm nervous, but where I feel like they can do something to me. I'm always like, oh God, is this going to end up in some sort of confrontation? And it's mainly because I have dealt with bullying for such a long time, that I feel this way. And I understand, like when I was working for Jackie, she used to always want to accuse me of talking over her because I was, being rude. Okay, that's not it. Sometimes people talk over other people because they're nervous. They want to hurry up and get the interaction over because we know what this leads to. Okay, so Maria's pretty much good on her own. I like keeping distance from people. I really do. But there is this dream where you hope to find people who are of like mind. And what I mean by of like mind, people who are just like, peaceful. I mean, and I'm not talking about, because there's a lot of like, how can I say this? Commercial type bohemian people. They love those peace signs and they love all that stuff, but they really don't understand, what it is to live the human existence. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to go on to the next slide. And it's too bad that, that ended up getting messed up what I was recording, because I thought it was actually pretty good. Okay, super sloppy video. I'm having to come back here. I looked at the video that I was trying to reference in the first slide. It's called Forced Marriages Through Human Trafficking. And I'm a little bit confused because I'm trying to remember a particular video that I had made. It was around the same time. The Forced Marriages Through Human Trafficking was made, apparently it was made in January of 2020. Okay, so that's a 5-year-old video. But I was hoping that it would be instructional. That's what I was hoping. And I do remember making an instructional video. And I'm trying to remember the title that I gave it, okay? What I had in there, I was kind of going into the differences between like I was defining what marriage was, okay? And marriage is obviously an institution, okay? And sometimes it's religious, sometimes it's ordained by the state, and sometimes it's ordained by a religious institution. Regardless, most people, whether you have a religious marriage or it's like state, what do you call it, state ordained, it usually is filed with the state that you're living in, and it has to be a legal document. Anyway, but this video was going into human trafficking, forced marriages, that subject matter. I'm definitely going to keep looking for that video. I must have titled it something different. Okay, but basically what it is like, in order to be considered married, you have to have a marriage license, and the person that you're marrying, they have to have consent. Okay, I'm going to be desperately looking for that video. Okay, I desperately want to find that video because it's really important. And I'm sure, even though I cannot find it in my video collection, my 1,600 videos or whatever, I know that he's probably, my perp, Rex Laverne, has probably seen that video because he's the one who stalks me and everything. So I'm pretty sure he's familiar with that. But that's basically what it is. And so I did want to clear that up. I'm trying to figure out where I left off. I did explain why, I have, people are seeing the apparition of my father on camera. It's because my father and I have been very close. I remember when I was little, he was very protective of me, and he had told me when I was a teenager that I was protective of him when I was a little girl. I remember, like, if my mom and my dad had some sort of a disagreement, I always took my dad's side. Like, you just did not disappoint my dad. I was, like, always, like, standing behind my dad. And it was like buddy-buddy. It was like buddy-buddy. Now, remember, me and my father came from heaven together. Also, I was his half-sister in our past lives. My father, apparently, from the intuitive messages that I get, that he was with me when I was Solomon, right? I don't know if he was a Queen of Sheba or not. I have not found out exactly who he was. He's just been with me throughout my lives. My lives, plural lives. So, but I do plan on finding out more about all of that. But yes, there is the difference between, like, some people will bring up the issue of forced marriages, and they'll try to use the excuse of certain ethnic people who get married and through, like, this is what I was bringing up in that video. When I find that video, I am so gonna, like, bring it back up and attach it to in the description box, because I cannot find it right now. It was probably titled under something like human trafficking. I'm gonna have to listen to these videos to find out. But some people say, well, what about, like, for example, Jewish people, some Indian people, what they have, or certain cultures that have, like, arranged marriages. The difference between a arranged marriage and a forced marriage is that they're both consenting adults. That's the difference, okay? So, like, for example, a Jewish girl, her mom might have a conversation with her and say, okay, at one point we're going to find, like, have a matchmaker, and you'll eventually get married, okay? So she's well aware of how all this is going, okay? That's different. That's what they call, like, an arranged marriage, and both adults are consenting. Okay, you can't just point out somebody and say, I want to be married to that person. That person has to give you a consent. Otherwise, it's human trafficking. Okay, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. But I love my educational videos. I love being thorough. I like to be able to give people information before they even ask. Why? Because it's important that people thoroughly understand this issue. But anyway, when I do find it, I will add that link in the description box. I'm just going to have to throw them through some videos, listen to it, and see how they were structured. Because generally when I make educational videos, I'm narrating, I'm reading from one of my scripts. I'm not, like, all over the place like I am now. But it is a good video. But anyway, that is it. That is the reason why I see my father's or you guys are able to see my father's apparition on camera. I have not seen it on camera, but I have seen it, like, when I talked about in the TV. I've had weird feelings of a presence and that kind of stuff. But that is it. Okay, so I covered that issue. I explained why it is not the fact that he and I were married. Okay, that has nothing to do with it. He and I would have been bonding. He would be following me around. I do know some people believe in internal marriages and stuff like that. The fact that he and I went through a ceremony or something has nothing to do with that. Not for us, okay? But it might for some other people, okay? So anyway, that's all I wanted to say. I'm going to wrap this video up. I'm tired of talking. I'm finally done. I'm wrapping it up. Take care. Good night. Or have a good day. Whatever.